Hi, let's talk about employee importance. So you are given a data structure of employee information, which include the employee unique ID, their importance value, and their direct subordinate ID. So this is employee class, which is this, and you are given the list of employee. So you need to find out the total given the integer ID that represent of the ID of the employee. Return the total importance value of this employee and all their subordinates. So imagine ID is 1 and this is ID 1 for sure, right? And then the subordinates is 2 and 3, then just add 3 and then add another 3, which will include 11, right? And I'm going to teach you the most efficient way. So I'm going to have a hash map that key is integer and the value is employee, and I will tell you why. Give me one sec. All right, so integer is the key is I'm going to store the employee ID, and the value employee will store the employee itself. So I need to traverse employee employee. Am I spelling correctly? Yes, employee and then employees, then map put and then e.id and then e, right? So this is actually how I put my map, the employee into my map, and I'm going to have a semicolon right here, and then later on I will have to add every single employee into my map, sorry, into my queue. So I have a queue, so queue, it should be a linked list. So I'm going to say queue employee, queue equal to linked list. Then what I would do is I put the ID into my queue. So if I have to put the ID into my queue, I have to find out the employee ID, right? So I would say queue.offer, then map.get get the ID, sorry, EID or ID doesn't matter. Okay, so this is how I actually know which employee ID I should I should stay on the queue and then keep adding. So I would say while queue is empty, I'll just keep doing this. And since we're returning int, right, we need to have a return value that will be initial 0 and return result. So I will have to pull the employee out from queue. So queue.pull. Then before I do anything for the subordinates, I need to add. So rest of plus equal note importance. Then for any integer subordinates, since this is the subordinates is list of integer, right? So for integer sub inside the sub, so that would be node.sub subordinates. Then I would just keep adding to the offer, keep adding to the queue. So map.get sub, and that will be entire solution. And then they just run it. And all right, I made a mistake. Queue instead of queue, and that would be it. So alright, so there should be no problem on this. I will summarize this later. So let's talk about time and space. So for the space, you need to store every single employee into the map, right? So that would be all of n. And for the value, I would say the maximum, the worst case, all of n, you traverse every single employee in the map. Which is, I mean, you add into the queue, and then you pull, and then when you find out you add again, that would come, that would be all of them for the worst case. And for the summary, so whatever you want, right, you need to put into the map. So employee will put into the map. So key is the ID, value is employee, and then you have a queue which will keep adding your ID from your ID to the end, right? So you put this ID, the employee ID, into the queue, and then you keep traversing, or you will end up once the for loop is zero, like you have no subordinate to traverse, and that will give you the final result. And just making sure you don't have an infinite loop in the subordinates, and that will be um, the the solution for these questions. So if you feel helpful, then press the like, subscribe if you want it, and leave a comment if you have any questions. All right, and peace out. Bye.